Well, if you are to talk about one of the hottest forward assets on the transfer market, it's none other than Victor Osimhen, and every team that has its fans vying for a centre forward is really looking at Victor Osimhen. And one of those teams, or some of those teams, are Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Real Madrid, name it. But those four are really very much in a race to obviously go in or to search for striker. Though all pointers from all those three teams are really looking at Victor Osimhen. Osimhen is going to hate to drop a very huge hint about what team he supports in the Premier League and where his destination is going to be. And I'm going to hate to obviously add these dots as Mikel Obi went ahead to host him, and Obi is trying to act as an agent, obviously see to it that this player comes in and plays on West London, not go to North London. So, welcome to this channel. Good morning. This is the Football News Show. Hope you guys are really having a fantastic stay wherever you are. Rokani David is my name. You can as well call me Aradi, and we're here to refer to rumble and take this to the next level, courtesy of the living true God. For the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, and we are here to obviously broadcast to everyone watching in this beautiful channel. And let's start it off with the man himself, Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is really a very good player, and last season he obviously went ahead to net close to 30 plus goals in the Champions League and the Serie A. Now, while appearing onto the OB1 podcast, remember OB went ahead to obviously open up this podcast, and he hosts players to obviously have their say onto their feature. And him being one of the Nigerian greatest players, that is Mikel Obi, he has found himself in a situation of really trying to obviously talk to Victor Osimhen, and this is what he had to say on whether he has an English Premier League team that he supports. Victor Osimhen says, "I don't have a team in the Premier League, but I have two jerseys as a kid I took from my brother. I had a Chelsea one and a Manchester United one. A lot of my friends are Chelsea fans and a few are Manchester United fans." Now, in this conversation, he hasn't gone ahead to talk about Arsenal. Now, when you look at Victor Osimhen and Arsenal, I think he is one of those players that every manager would love to have. Trust me. Eric Ten Hag is an admirer. Mikel Arteta is an admirer. Pochettino is an admirer. That is it. But the big question is, what are the factors that contribute to the player to obviously go in and really play? However much he has he doesn't have an Arsenal jersey. If you obviously add these dots a little bit, you'll understand that Victor Osimhen will like to go to a team that is, one, playing in the Champions League, two, near to win the trophy. You know, when you look at Arsenal, Victor Osimhen is one of the missing pieces in that Arsenal side. That is it. But him saying that he doesn't have a jersey of Arsenal doesn't mean that he cannot come to play at Arsenal. And I would like to strengthen all Arsenal fans all over the world that statement that was put out by Victor Osimhen shouldn't really power down your hopes of this guy coming in through to do the needful for you, especially and join the club of Arsenal, because players are really very, 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 very fickle, and they're obviously like chameleons. They keep changing their colors. For example, this is one of the biggest examples I've ever gonna hate to get in world football. You know, when Fabinho was crossing from Real Madrid, he knew that he was coming to Chelsea. That is it. I think it was around 2005, 2006. Now, I think it was around 2006, right? He knew that he was coming to Chelsea. As he left Real Madrid, he talked to the presser and he told them how good Chelsea is and how it's one of the biggest teams in the world and is excited to join Chelsea. Now, as the plane was in transit, or was transiting from Madrid to London, his agent gets a call or an email coming in from Shinawatra of Manchester City telling him that, "I'm giving your player a salary of £250,000 a week." Do you know what did? Do you know what happened? The plane reached London and it never made the stopover. It extended to Manchester. And Fabinho landed in Manchester, did the medical, passed it, and in just 3-4 hours later, he changed his statement and he said, Man City is one of the greatest teams in the world. They're having great players. They've told me their plan, and I believe I'm going to be so much pivotal to this team. Those are football players. Those are football players. They change according to what has been put on their table. So I think if Arsenal comes into this mix, they can obviously get Victor Osimhen. That is it. And for Chelsea, it will be a very good signing for them. And by the way, any team that signs Victor Osimhen, they would have gone ahead to get one of the best center forwards in the world. Very aggressive and very, very focused. But the big question is, when his performance this season affect his price that Napoli has always gone ahead to call in for, as his contract is left, I think, with 2 years, and the player is really seeing things not happening, and he knows that if at all he obviously puts pen to paper at Napoli, the situation will go worse, like that of Kalidou Koulibaly. Kalidou Koulibaly was at Napoli. Teams went ahead to offer like £70 million, and the president of Napoli said no, but he ended up selling him at 31. That is a loss of like £39 million. If I had sold him to Man United or Chelsea or Man City way back in 2017, 2018, where he was one of the best left-sided centre-backs in the world, he would have gone ahead to make that money. Now, Victor Osimhen is a student of what happened to his fellow African player, that is Kalidou Koulibaly. So he knows exactly to play his cards, and he went ahead to tell the board of Napoli that if at all I'm to put pen to paper on your tabled contract, there should be a release clause of 100 million euros. That is it. Remember, they bought him for 60 million euros. Is it from Lyon in France? And he came in at Napoli, and he had one of his best seasons last season. That is it. But Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United are those teams that can obviously get this player in, and we wait to see how that happens. But him coming to Arsenal or Chelsea or Manchester United doesn't depend on whether this player was really having a jersey of United or Chelsea when he was young. It depends on what offer they're going to put on the table and on which team is willing to really meet the price. One will say Arsenal is not a big spending team, guys. Arsenal has gone ahead to elevate itself from being a low spending team to a high spending team. For example, in the summer of 2021, where they brought in Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Alokonga, Arsenal went ahead to spend £147 million. And in entire Europe, they were the best spending team. Remember, I think we are from COVID, where they went ahead to sign Odegaard on a permanent deal. So that's how Arsenal went ahead to spend huge. And the following summer transfer window, they went ahead to spend £45 million on Gabriel Jesus with £5 million of add-ons, that is £50 million. They brought in Alexander Zinchenko at £35 million. Who else? They went in for Fabio Vieira. I think he went in for £34 million from FC Porto, and they've been spending huge. Then, the recently concluded summer, Arsenal showed us that they really have the muscle or the financial muscle to obviously spend in that for you. And for the highest player, they've gone ahead to obviously spend that huge amount of money to break the record of Nicolas Pepe of £73 million. That is Declan Rice. He's gone ahead to reciprocate back with really playing the best football at Arsenal ever since they got ahead to sign him. So I think that will give Arsenal more optimism to go in for players like Victor Osimhen. And I think if Arsenal get to know that the missing jigsaw in their squad is a world-class centre forward, I think Victor Osimhen won't be far off from them signing him. And I think if at all they offered £105 million, that is close to 120 to 130 million euros to Napoli, they can easily get in the player. And trust me, Arsenal will sign another player at £100 million plus next summer. And if it's going to be Victor Osimhen, it's God knows. But they face a very huge competition from Chelsea. And Chelsea can only go into this battle if at all they can go ahead and obviously get Champions League qualification. If they get it, then they can easily convince this man to come in through, because even his fellow Nigerian ex-player, that is Obi Mikel, is trying to obviously convince him to obviously join the side of Chelsea. And Mikel Obi has said the following with Victor Osimhen. Told him, next season, I know you're going to come to Chelsea, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to be the agent to broker that deal. I'm going to make sure that happens. We are crying out for someone like you since Didier Drogba left. So, it will all about who offers more money. And in this situation, who best benefits is the player. Arsenal has shown us that they have the mental and they have the urge to offer players like £300,000 a week, £200,000 a week. And I think if I told you Victor Osimhen and you come in at either Arsenal or Chelsea and they get you like £250,000 a week, I think you cannot say no. And Mikel Obi has continued to obviously express himself on his desire for Victor Osimhen to join Chelsea, and concluded and said, Victor Osimhen got the arrogancy, he's got the personality. You can feel someone has walked into the dressing room, and that's what Didier Drogba had. My advice for him is to come to Chelsea. That's what Victor Osimhen has been told by the former Chelsea player and former Nigerian captain, that is Mikel Obi. So, let's wait and see. Where will this man end up? Is he going to go to North London at Arsenal or West London at Chelsea? And trust me, when you see to it that two London rivals are going in for a player, every team would love to go ahead and obviously win that race. Trust me, Arsenal are really happy for winning the race of signing a Chelsea supporter, that is Declan Rice. We all know that Declan Rice is a Chelsea supporter, but went ahead to end up at Arsenal. So, we might see another battle, next season or next summer, when these two teams are going in for a player. Even the January transfer window, it's possible. It's possible to see to it that Arsenal might be looking in for a striker and they go in for Victor Osimhen, and even Chelsea might obviously try to push hard to get him at their side. So tell me your thoughts about Victor Osimhen. Where do you think he's obviously going to land or end, And trust me, next summer, he's not going to be at Napoli. January transfer window, it's possible, but it's more possible in the summer transfer window of 2024. So guys, your thoughts onto that are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Victor Osimhen? Will he come to Arsenal or Chelsea? May the living to God bless you abundantly. It's a good morning, and we are gonna hit to charge as usual. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikim, the Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and I'm out.